What is up, guys? Welcome back to Creative Readers, etc., the channel where I do creative things that sometimes involve reading, etc. Today's video, I am doing a bookshelf tour. Now, I know what your first thought is. Lexi, you did a bookshelf tour like 3 months ago. And the answer to that question, that is not a question, is yes, I did. But my bookshelf has changed a lot since then, and I am moving to college in less than a week. Fun fact. And I'm going to miss it so dearly. So I need something to remember it by. Because obviously I can't bring my whole bookshelf with me, and that makes me sad. And I'll have to find a new backdrop to record videos in, which is wild because I've had this bookshelf for so long, and it's gonna be weird to not have my bookshelf with me, but we'll figure something out, and I am going to be bringing a few of my favorite books with me, so I think that it'll be okay. But in the meantime, because my bookshelf has changed so much and I've acquired so many new books since the last tour, we're going to be going again, this time an updated bookshelf tour, bigger and better, and my bookshelf is a lot more complete now, so I'm very excited to share it with you guys. And without further ado, let us hop right into the video. Hello, hi, you are very up close and personal now. Let's get to know each other. How's it going? How's it been? How about that weather? You can see all of my stress acne, but that's okay because moving is hard. I have no clue what I'm doing. However, I do know how to give a bookshelf tour, and that is starting with the top shelf. So going from left to right, I have my ACOTAR series on this shelf. This is sort of my Sarah J. Maas shelf, and I've got my little Mikasa Funko Pop from Attack on Titan. I do have the ACOTAR series over here, all in hardcover. I've decided to not rebuy the new covers because I think they're ugly, and I don't want them on my shelf. So I'm going to keep the original covers, plus they're a lot more valuable now that they're harder to find, and just buy the new books with the new covers and suck it up, because I don't think the new covers match each other all that well either, to be honest. So I'm gonna stick with the old covers. Thank you very much. Next up, I do have the Throne of Glass series, also by Sarah J. Maas. As you can see, I have a assortment of hardcover and paperback because I'm currently in the process of buying the series in hardcover, which is wild because I've had them in paperback since like forever. So I got tired finally of having Kingdom of Ash being the only hardcover book in that series that I have. And I found 4 of the books in hardcover at Half Price Books for a really good deal. So I'm going to use that as my excuse of why I want them in hardcover and not because I just need them in hardcover to fulfill some primal book collecting part of my brain. I also have my little Batman Funko Pop over here. He's very cute in my rainbow neon sign thingy that was a gift from one of my color guard buddies. Over here I have the Lord of the Rings series, which turns out is not actually the Lord of the Rings series. I should have looked a lot closer before buying those off of Amazon. However, they look really pretty, so I'm gonna keep them on my shelf because they're gorgeous. And then I also have Sorcery of Thorns, which is a standalone book, which are actually getting fewer and far between on my shelves. I'm getting so many series collections that it's really hard to have standalone books anymore. But this is a standalone book, and I thought it would look nice up here. It's a very good book, I do recommend, and that concludes the top shelf of my bookshelf. Alrighty, so now we are moving right down along to my second shelf. This is probably my favorite shelf on my total bookcase altogether. But I'm here for it. I love the aesthetic, I love the way it came together, and I'm super happy with this shelf. It's my favorite to look at, which is why I have it prime eye level when you walk into the room, because it's the first thing I want people to see. So I do have a lot more goodies on this shelf. I have this candle. This is from Bath & Body Works. It is the lavender plus cedarwood candle, the aromatherapy. It smells so good. I love the little like mason jar that it comes in. Very academia aesthetic. I just like it, so I put it here. I have my wand that I got from Universal this summer, my new one. This is the one that you get when you are chosen for the wand ceremony. I was chosen, and obviously you have to pay for it still, but this is the wand that chose me. So it's super cute, I love it, and I have it sitting right on this shelf because I feel like this is a very magical shelf, even though it's not Harry Potter. We'll get to that one next, and I think it looks well on this shelf. So I leave it here next to my candle and my Cassandra Clare books. I also have one more candle on the shelf, which is this one that I got from Walmart. It is coconut lime scented, and I just really wanted a lime green candle, and I just have it on the shelf because balance, I guess. It looks good here, so I don't question it. The actual books on this shelf are the Mortal Instruments series, which I have all of in the original hardcover except for the third book. I don't have the third book yet, and I will find it eventually, I swear, but I'm pretty proud of my collection of this so far because I've had to find them all at half-price books, and to think that I've gotten all of them in the original is pretty impressive, so I'm gonna say it's a win. I do have some of them in paperback too, because I didn't know which would be easier to buy first, but I ended up finding the hardcovers, which makes me a very happy book collector. I also have the Chain of Gold, Chain of Iron. I know this series is still in progress. Haven't read any of these because I've been told I need to read these first, so I'm probably going to bring the first two of these to college with me, so I have something to read so that maybe I can finally get into them. But we'll see. The only books that I know for a fact that I'm going to be bringing to college with me are right next to Lady Midnight, which I also have. It is these two lovely babies, my collector's editions of Six of Crows, Crooked Kingdom. These are my crown jewels of my collection. This is why this is my favorite shelf. They're so gorgeous. I'm so proud of them. They make me so happy. I know I've ranted and raved about them on this channel before. Look at them. Look how gorgeous they are. Also in the Le Bardugo vein on this shelf, if you've noticed, I try to organize my shelf by having the series from the same author. There's not really any rhyme or reason to where I put them. I just put them where I thought would look good. But I do try to keep all of the series by the same author on one shelf, if possible. So I also have King of Scars, Rule of Wolves over here. I have not yet read Rule of Wolves because I want to read the Shadow and Bone trilogy first, which I also have on this shelf. But they do look gorgeous. So there is that. Because at this point, a lot of the books I buy, I know that I probably won't read for a good long while, but they look pretty, so I'm going to buy them anyway. I also, on this shelf, to conclude it, have the 3 Carry On series books by Rainbow Rowell. The third one is currently out of its dust cover because I'm in the process of reading it, loving it so far, so good. But I think they look really cool next to each other, although I do need to get the purple edition of Carry On for Barnes & Noble eventually, which I will. But I currently own 2 copies of it already, which is the paperback because I bought it new and it came in paperback at that point, and the hardcover, which I just found at Half Price Books during our 24-hour readathon, which is a great video where I spent a lot of money on books instead of actually reading them like we were supposed to. And we are now going to move down to our third shelf. Alright, so here we are at the third shelf. As you can tell, the primary series on this shelf is of course Harry Potter. I've got my 3 Harry Potter Funko Pops and Hermione's wand. I do have Harry, McGonagall, and Ronald in the Funko Pops, and I do want to eventually get some more, but these are the ones I have as of right now. And then I've got the Harry Potter series. I have them all on the original covers because they were originally my mother's. However, I don't have the first couple in hardcover, so they're in paperback, but that's okay. I think for Harry Potter it's excusable. Especially because I don't really want to give any more of my money to J.K. Rowling. Then I have this book that I got during our readathon. I know it's a series, but I don't have the rest of the series, but it seemed pretty interesting. It's called Falling Kingdoms, and I'm kind of excited to read it, so I might be bringing that one with me to college as well. I also have my 3 Adventure Zone books. I know the 4th one just came out, but I don't have it yet. but these are the only graphic novels that I have on my shelf, and I love them dearly. It's a great podcast, so if you're looking for something new to listen to, I would highly recommend it, especially if you're into fantasy, nerdy Dungeons and Dragons stuff. The McElroy brothers are great. I love them. Listen to this podcast. Or just get the graphic novels. Or do both. They're all really good. Now is my second favorite series of all time. The Darius the Great is Not Okay books by Adib Khorram. Again, I don't know how to pronounce that name. And I have also ranted and raved about these books on this channel multiple times before because they're just so good. I recommend them to everybody. I love them dearly, so I might bring them to college with me as well. I also have all four, hold on, let me switch sides. I also have all four of the Summoner books by Taran Matharu. I probably butchered that one as well. I've only read the first one, not the prequel, but the first book so far because I've just been like super busy and never had time to read the others, but I do want to read them eventually because I enjoyed the first book. I have the Sherlock Holmes series on here. Mostly these three series I all put on here, mostly because they're all the same height, so they look kind of nice next to each other. The Sherlock Holmes series was very good, except for the last book. I did not like the last book at all, and I just pretend it doesn't exist. But I have it, so the series is complete, so my brain can rest easily. And finally on this shelf, other than my little woodwick candle over here, I have Red, White, and Royal Blue by Casey McQuinton, and great book. I would reread it right now if I had time. I finished it in like a day. I love it. It's just a feel-good book, and it made me really happy. So I would read that one again, and I will read it again, and it's on this shelf. And honestly, the hot pink, or the bubblegum pink, does not really match the vibe, but it's such a good book that I don't even care. I love it. It's great. And now we're gonna move down to my next shelf. Alrighty, sitting on the floor now, we are on this shelf, which as you can tell, we're gonna go by really fast. It's my Rick Riordan shelf. Woo! I love it. It just looks so cool. All like by each other, and it's really pretty to look at. And obviously the Rick Riordan books are all incredible. So hyped for the Percy Jackson TV show. So this shelf is fairly self-explanatory, but I'm gonna go through it anyway. So first up, I have the Magnus Chase books. I've read the first one. I have not read the other two yet, but I plan on it because I've heard really, really good things about them. I have the Trials of Apollo book, except for the last one. Then I have the Heroes of Olympus series over here, which, as you can tell, they're all gorgeous. Love them. I just did a reread of these not too long ago, as well as a reread of the Percy Jackson series, which is behind my head. I shall scoot over so you can see it. The Percy Jackson series, which I don't have in hardcover because I had to rebuy, because the first time I read these, I actually read them through my school. So obviously I didn't own those books, so I had to buy them, and I wanted to buy them all at once because I'm impatient, so I bought the box set, and they were paperback. But I might eventually try to find them in hardcover, maybe with the original covers. I don't know, we'll see, depending on if I can or not, but I feel like that would take a lot of effort, so might not do that. And then I have the Red Pyramid books. I have 3 of them. I think there was only 3, but I could be wrong. But I remember liking them, just not as much as the Percy Jacksons. But I do remember it being a major influence on my childhood, so. And this is my Rick Riordan shelf. And we're gonna move down. I don't think I'll be able to get any lower without literally laying on the floor, so I'm gonna scoot the camera back. So we're gonna just cover the last 2 shelves at once. Alrighty, so welcome to my floor. These are the last 2 shelves on my bookshelf. These aren't as well organized or developed as the top 4 shelves, 4 or 5? As the top 4 shelves, because these are either my incomplete series or some of my standalone books. So these aren't necessarily as well organized. This one is pretty well done. I'm pretty proud of this one. And this bottom one is just books that I want on my shelf but don't really know what to do with as of right now. So on this shelf I have Lore by Alexandra Bracken. Have not read it yet. Most of the books on these shelves I've either finished the whole series or haven't read yet. I have Ember in the Ashes by Sabah Tahir. Again, I'm probably butchering these and I'm so sorry. I don't have the full series of this one and I only have it in paperback because I got it from Walmart. And I think I started this one but just like couldn't get into it. I think not because it was bad but because I was in a reading slump, so I might bring that one with me and try again because Maddie really loves it, loves that series, so we'll see. I have the Furyborn and Kingsbane books. I've read Furyborn, I've not read Kingsbane. I have the Caraval series. I have not yet read Finale, but I do love the first two books, so I need to, and I probably will end up bringing that one with me. I have Emergency Contact, which I actually did meet the author of this book at a book festival one time. That was my cat. I'm so sorry. I have the Raven Cycle series. Read the first two. I love this series to death. I think it's so cool. I love the concept of it, so I'm definitely going to be bringing at least the last two books with me so I can read them, but I might bring the whole series just for aesthetic purposes. I'm gonna scoot over now so that y'all can see this side. I have the first 6 books of the Ranger's Apprentice series. I am working on collecting all of them. Obviously, I've read the whole series. I love them to death. They're incredible. I have Truly Devious, which is the first book in, I don't know what the series is called. It might just be Truly Devious. But it was great. I love it, and I really, really want to get the rest of them, but I've never found them in any bookstores, and I'm too lazy to order them off of Amazon. So I will eventually obtain the rest of that series and read it, but I don't have it yet. And then finally I have the Divergent series, which is I read it in like elementary school and I enjoyed it then, but now it's just kind of overrated, and I don't have the first book in hardcover. So it's kind of just like chilling out over here in the corner where nobody can ever see it. And finally we're onto the bottom shelf, which is just kind of a menagerie of books that either don't belong anywhere or don't look good anywhere, or I just didn't like very much. So I do have this like horror stories book which looks super cool but doesn't really like fit in anywhere on my shelf. I have this book that I got from a Comic-Con called Soul Chambers, which was part of my Owls challenge that I did like 2 years ago, and it was a good book but it takes forever to get into. So I didn't enjoy it as much the second time around as I did the first. I have Love and War and Alex and Eliza. I could not get into Love and War. I loved Alex and Eliza. I could not get into Love and War at all. It was not good. And I have not bought the third book, and I think there might even be a fourth one now. I have not bought it, and I don't plan on it because it's just a waste of time, and they don't even look that pretty. So they definitely do not match the vibe of the rest of my shelf, so I don't see the point in buying the other books in this series. I have Six of Crows and Crooked Kingdom down here, but they are the paperback copies. Since I have the collector's editions higher up, I did not feel the need to put them anywhere else on my shelf, and I do eventually want to have them elsewhere so that I can fill this up with like complete series once I get to that point. But for now, this is just sort of my mismatched knick-knack shelf of books that I like, but not a whole lot. But it's definitely in a lot better shape than it was before the readathon. I have Dear Evan Hansen, which I don't really necessarily plan on reading anymore. I did at one point, but ever since it's kind of become cringe culture, I started understanding a lot more of the plot, and I don't really have any desire to read the book yet, but I might eventually, but it looks pretty, so I'll keep it on my shelf for now. I have the paperback version of Carry On over here. I know I told you I have it, and here it is. It is still on my shelf. I have Two Can Keep a Secret. I also really enjoyed this book. It's a mystery, just like Truly Devious was. I don't think I plan on getting the rest of the series, because this one, if I remember correctly, either tied up the knots loosely and then started the plot for another book, or didn't, and I just don't care. This book I got at a Comic-Con, not a Comic-Con, a BookCon. I might eventually read it, I might not, I don't know, but it looks kind of cool, so I keep it on my shelf anyway. I probably won't though. I have this really old version of the Sherlock stories by Arthur Conan Doyle. and it looks really cool because I got it from my grandma. So it's like a vintage book, I think, but like the pages are like super yellow, and it's awesome, and I love it a lot, so I keep it on my shelf. But it doesn't match the vibe of anywhere else, but it looks super pretty. Like, that's really cool. So over here I have the paperback versions of Throne of Glass that I had replaced up there with the hardcover. I have the Pegasus books, which are books from my childhood that I keep here because they were good. Like, that's just it, and I enjoyed them. I have Good Omens, which I love, and I would put it higher up, but it's so small that it just kind of ruins the vibe. So I keep it down here. Oops, but it was a really good book, and I also enjoyed the TV show, and I'm so hyped for season 2. So we will see that when it comes out. I will probably do a reaction video to it, actually. Who knows? I have The Cursed Child, because I have The Cursed Child that I just put here because. And finally I have these 2 mythology books. Well, this one's not really mythology. It's a book about King Arthur and the Arthurian legends, and a Greek mythology book. And that actually concludes my shelf tour. I do hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I hope you liked my bookshelf. Maybe got some ideas for your own. If you have any book recommendations for me to add to my ever-growing collection, I would love it if you would put those in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, please be sure to like, subscribe, and comment down below. It really means a lot, and it makes my day, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye!